Hi all, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's session, we will be discussing about object-oriented programming in Python, where we will be discussing about introduction to OOPs and Python classes and objects. So what is object-oriented programming? Object-oriented programming is a method of programming by using the ideas of objects and classes to represent the data and methods. So it's also an approach used for creating neat and reusable code instead of redundant one. So object-oriented programming is a method of programming which uses basically two parts, objects and classes, to represent data and methods. Data are also known as attributes. And it is also an approach of creating a neat and reusable code instead of writing a redundant code. So object-oriented programming is also known as OOPs concept. So it has 6 main concepts. Basically, classes and objects are the stepping stones, and polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance, and abstractions are the other 4 important concepts which are the parts of object-oriented programming. Now let us start with classes and objects, and we can proceed with other concepts in the upcoming slides. Now let us discuss about Python classes. A Python class is a group of attributes and methods. So a Python class is also a blueprint for creating an object. A class will be a collection of attributes and methods. Attributes can be data or variables. So syntax is class name, def underscore init underscore self variable name is equal to value, def method underscore name self body of method. So this is the simple syntax of class. So we need to define a class name, and a def init is a constructor, and we need to a self variable which is first variable. So self dot variable name is equal to value. So the variable name can be any of the thing, and the value will be the input or the data which you want to give to the variable which will be associated with self. We need to define a method, def method underscore name self. So we can define a particular function here. Method name can be any of the type, and it should be consider the self as a first parameter, and you can define the method. So for your reference, I have written one example as well. So class a def underscore init self. So this is a constructor. Here self dot name is equal to Ravi I have written. So this is my input I have given to the constructor. Then I have defined a function which is known as disp, and it has 2 arguments. The self is an first argument. It will be considered as first parameter internally, and we don't want to explicitly add an argument in the actual arguments. So we are passing an actual argument age. So student underscore age is equal to age. Then we can pass stu name is equal to self dot name, and age is equal to age or stu underscore age. So what are attributes? So since Python class are a collection of attributes and methods, so what are attributes? So attributes are represented by variables that contains data. So these are represented by variables that contains data. Method performs an action or task. So method is nothing but a function which is used to perform a specific task. It is similar to function. So before moving to Python objects, let us create this syntax with an example in the code editor, and later I will discuss Python object and how we can create this object and call the class. That thing we can discuss. First, let us create this Python class in our code editor. Class.pure. Here I will define a class student. So here I will define a constructor def underscore init. So underscore init, or self will be the first parameter by default, and I will pass self dot name is equal to something like this. I will just define. Now let us define a method called disp, and self will be the first parameter, self dot. So for this, let me define a parameter called age. Age is equal to age. I will call this while creating an object. Now I will try to print name of the student is, and I will pass self dot name, and is age is self dot age. So this is the completion of class. So try to brief out what exactly I have written. I have defined a class called student. In this, I have defined a constructor, f underscore underscore init, which is self as the first parameter. And under that, I have defined a variable self dot name is equal to Rama. So for the name, I have given as Rama. Now I define one more method, def this self comma age, where age is my formal argument. While passing the data for this formal argument using an actual argument. So self dot age is equal to age. Print f string. So f string is used to print the internal data in the normal string itself. So I'm using f string. Then name of the student is. So we'll open flower brackets and I will write self dot name and his age is. I will open again the flower brackets and I will write is age. So whichever the variables I have defined with the help of self, I will be defining that. So this is how exactly the class should be defined. So that's the declaration of classes here. So after defining the classes, you need to understand the statements. It's a collection of attributes and methods. So here, these are my attributes. So these are my attributes and this will be our method. So these are the methods. So this is our constructor. I will be defining this in later. So this is my method. So it's a connection of variables or attributes and method. That's what class defines. Now, let us move to Python object. So object is an instantiation of a class or a class instance. So when a class is created, a memory is not allocated, but classes only initiate when an object is created for it and memory is allocated thereafter. So when you create the classes won't be allocate its own memory. Unless or until you create an object for a class, the memory won't be allocated for a class. So the object is considered as instantiation of a class. It's an instantiate process for a class. So that's what the definition of Python object. So each time you create an object of a class, a copy of each variable defined in the class is created. So whenever you create an object for a class, each set of copies will be created so that you don't have to define only one object to one class. You could be able to create multiple objects for a single class. So at that point of time, a multiple set of variables will be defined. So that's what it defines. Object declaration I will be explaining in the following example. Here I will try to declare the object. Now object 1 is equal to student. I will call the class. Now with the help of object 1, I need to call its function. Since it has a formal argument age, I need to pass an actual argument. Let me define its age as 24. Then I will try to run this file. If you look into the output, so I got a print statement where the name of the student is Rama and his age is 24. Here, the attributes data has been read in the following in the method, and even the argument which I am passing from the actual argument has taken in the reference of this function, and even that has been processed and it returns in the print statement and his age is 24. So this is how the object declaration happens. So I will try to explain the third statement here, which each time you create an object of a class of copy of each variable defined in the class is created. So now I have created object 1. So if I want to create object 2, again I could able to call the class, then I could able to call its function. Now if I pass this, again there will be two set of variables will be created. Hence the first set of variable will display name of the student is Rama and his age is 24. Then name of the student is Rama and his age is 25. So in this way you could able to perform instantiation method for a class with the help of object. By creating multiple objects, you could able to create multiple class variables. That's what the complete descriptions of classes and object. Thank you.